display satellite imagery of Beta. You can see the outflow here. A very favorable upper level pattern here, supporting the building of the wave. It won't be just on forever. It could regenerate down the road. It's still don't know how to actually shift. You can
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Naso from Internet Partnership Radio with a tropical video update. We are well within the Eastern Pacific hurricane season, only a few short days away from the 2006 Atlantic hurricane season, which runs from June to November. However, we do have a tropical storm in the Eastern Pacific. Let's take a look at it right now.
Going to look out there now over the general Atlantic and part of the Eastern Pacific. You can see our storm right there. This is Tropical Storm ALETTA. And you could also see some area of cloudiness and showers moving off of the coast of Costa Rica. That has to be watched for potential development over the next several days as that moves west, northwestward. Elsewhere in the Atlantic, not much. Little tropical wave down here at about, say, 7, 8 north. Unfavorable winds for that. Let's take a look at the latest now on Tropical Storm ALETTA. As of 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, it was at 15.6 north, 100.5 west. That puts it just south of the Mexican coastline. Winds now 40 miles per hour, gusting to 50, and it's moving currently to the northeast at 3, and I'll show you why in just a second. 1,003 millibars, and you can see the track here. Anywhere within this circle area is where it's expected to head, although the precise track has it drifting a little bit northeast and getting steered back to the west under the ridge axis. Ridge of high pressure going to build in, that's going to push it west. But we'll show you all that in just a second. First of all, let's take a look at the tropical storm at this time. And you can see earlier today it started to strengthen a lot as it became a tropical depression. And it became a tropical storm fairly rapidly. You had the center of circulation in this area here, and you had a very good pattern developing with it. But notice what's happened throughout the day here. The center's beginning to get exposed. The tropical storm is sitting on the verge of a very favorable environment to the east and a very negative environment to the west, and so slow strengthening is expected. What's basically been happening that's been steering the storm more to the north and northeast is that you can see the center was down in this area here, but as the wind shear blows the clouds to the northeast, the center tries to tuck back under that deep convection, and that's always bad news when you're trying to forecast the exact track of a system, especially when it's this close to the coast. Taking a look at some wind gusts out there right now, you can see it's somewhat gusty, not that much. You got winds about in their 20s, gusting maybe into the 30s off the coast, and really not a whole lot of wind with this system as of yet. However, it is expected to intensify, and it could become close to hurricane strength over the next several days, but that is when it should move well away from the coastline. Nevertheless, heavy rains and flooding are a potential problem with this. Whenever you have systems sitting near the coastline that could put high cloud over, a lot of heavy rain, you got mountainous terrain up there, so that is something we're going to be watching as well. You can see the wind reports, not much, but clearly the circulation around the tropical storm getting sheared there by these clouds basically moving to the north and northeast. Now, let's take a look at the latest imagery of the entire western Atlantic, and you can see ALETTA right there. Pretty good organization to it. Not all that fantastic by any means, but for a 40-mile-an-hour storm, I'd certainly give it at least a B for organization. Here's that second system down here that I think we should watch. Again, the next name on the list would be Bud, I do believe, if it were to become a system. This should move, I think, to the west, west-northwest, and shouldn't really develop that quick, but if it does, definitely something you'd have to watch. But I don't think that'd be a problem for the Mexican coast like ALETTA. Taking a look at the wind shear over the storm. Now, here's what's going on here. As I mentioned, you have very unfavorable winds occurring just to the west of the storm, with very favorable winds and shear tendencies going down to the east of it, and that's why you kind of have this lopsided storm. It's blowing up, but that convection is getting sheared, so it's not able to fan out on its western side. Nevertheless, conditions as the ridge axis builds over are expected to become more favorable, and the Hurricane Center is forecasting a 65-mile-per-hour tropical storm, which is a pretty potent tropical storm indeed. Elsewhere in the Atlantic Basin, a couple of days before the hurricane season starts, not much. Caribbean islands look very good. Got a tropical wave approaching. That could bring some moisture next several days, but no development expected with that. System up here in the Atlantic, that shouldn't do anything as well. There's another look at ALETTA. Sorry about that. Gulf of Mexico looking pretty good as well. Light and variable over most of the Gulf. And off the coast of Africa, a very active intertropical convergence zone starting to calm down for Memorial Day weekend. We got a wave up here that should come off, but again, nothing extreme over Africa, but that's all going to change in just a couple of short weeks. I'm Mike Naso, and
So that's going to do it for this time. I'll see you over in the next couple of days as we get closer and closer to hurricane season 2006. Stay tuned to Internet Partnership Radio for the latest.